Deep political divides are tearing at the fabric of America, and some are even proposing a national divorce. Sounds crazy, right? We're living in a time of stark contrasts and clashing ideologies. The political landscape is a battleground where liberals and conservatives are digging in their heels, refusing to yield an inch. In the midst of this turmoil, a radical idea has emerged from Georgia GOP Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene: a national divorce. Yes, you heard it right. A separation of the united, a division of the indivisible. So, what would a national divorce even look like? Buckle up, because we're about to dive into that. And if you want to be the first to know when the divorce papers are filed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We promise to keep you updated on all the juicy details. Imagine the United States split into two countries, one governed by conservatives, the other by liberals. That's the basic idea behind a national divorce. It's a radical concept that has been proposed as a potential solution to the deep political divide that currently characterizes the American landscape. In this hypothetical scenario, conservative states would form their own government, separate from those states led by Democrats. This would essentially lead to the creation of two separate countries, each with their own distinct ideologies and political systems. It's an idea that on the surface may seem like a simple solution to the growing tensions between differing political ideologies. However, it's important to remember that this is a radical concept. It's not just about drawing a line down the middle of a map. It's about fundamentally altering the structure and identity of a nation that has, for over 2 centuries, stood united under a single flag. But before you start packing your bags for the new United States, let's consider some practical implications. A national divorce isn't as easy as signing some papers and dividing up the furniture. There are some major complications to consider. Now let's dive into the practical implications of such a massive split. First up, we have the national debt. Who gets custody of this financial burden? Would it be split equally, or would it be based on each state's contribution? The negotiation process would be a Herculean task in itself. Next, we have military assets. These aren't just tanks and fighter jets we're talking about. We're speaking of nuclear weapons, overseas bases, and intelligence agencies. Who would control these? How would they be divided? Then there's the question of travel restrictions. Would we need visas to visit our neighboring states? Would we have separate passports, separate currencies? The complexity of these issues isn't to be underestimated. And let's not forget, secession is illegal under U.S. law. The Constitution is clear on this point. A national divorce would require a constitutional amendment, which needs the approval of 2/3 of both the House and Senate and ratification by 3/4 of the states. That's a tall order. So while a national divorce might sound like a simple solution to our political problems, the reality is a lot messier. Despite the complications, there's some support for a national divorce. But what do the experts think? In the court of public opinion, the idea of a national divorce has found some traction. A recent poll even suggested that more than half of its respondents expect a civil war to break out in the near future. This goes to show the depth of the divide, the extent of the discord, and the height of the tensions currently gripping the nation. But when we look beyond these numbers, we find a far more complex picture. Not everyone is on board with this idea of a national divorce. Many see it as a drastic measure, a step too far, a move that could potentially do more harm than good. They worry about the repercussions, about the long-term effects, and about the possibility of irreparable damage. And what about the experts? Well, they have some serious reservations. They argue that a national divorce is not only highly impractical, but also incredibly divisive. They point out the myriad of complications it would entail, from the division of national debt to the allocation of military assets and even the imposition of travel restrictions. They caution against the allure of simple solutions to complex problems, reminding us that the devil is often in the details. To add to this, the Constitution itself prohibits secession, effectively ruling out the possibility of a national divorce. So even if there was substantial support for such a move, it would face significant legal hurdles. But perhaps the most important point the experts make is this: A national divorce doesn't actually address the root causes of America's political divide. It doesn't bridge the gap, it doesn't heal the wounds, and it doesn't bring us any closer to unity. Instead, it risks deepening the divide and exacerbating the tensions. So while America might seem more divided than ever, a national divorce is unlikely to be the solution we're looking for.